Good morning. I think it's still morning at this point. I tried to record this a second ago, but my phone spazzed out and died on me midway through. So this is my second attempt at getting this up. I don't understand why I'm having so much trouble. The first one, seamless, and it was like a whole almost 20 minutes. So neither here nor there. I'm here to tap in on chapter 4 of Jonah. I thought this chapter was really interesting. This chapter covers Jonah's displeasure being rebuked. So in chapter 4, what happens is that Jonah basically comes at God on some like, see, I knew you was going to respond to them like this. This is why I didn't even want to go and talk to them, because I knew that you was going to do what you did. Have compassion. The Lord responded and was like, squeeze me. You have a reason to be angry. What? And I'm like God on this one. I'm like, bruh, this city, this great city that was out here wilding, right? Like I used you to speak a word about me saying their time of wilding is over, like destruction is about to come upon them in 40 days. And instead of continuing to wild for those 40 days, they decided to come back to me in repentance. Like, isn't that something you, who is connected to me, should be celebrating, right? Like, I would imagine that was God's thought process. But no, Jonah got real dramatic on him. Like, so, Jonah said, "Oh Lord, please take my life from me, for death is better to me than life." I was like, come on, drama king. Boy, what? Sit down somewhere. Anyways, if y'all hear a lisp going, I have my Invisalign in today. I'm trying to do right. I don't be trying to do right every day. But listen, if I ever want straight teeth, gotta start somewhere, right? Anyways, so that's what you're hearing when, yeah, okay. So yeah, Jonah was on some like real drama king stuff. Y'all probably want to label him as a specific zodiac. That's your business, not mine. Anyways, so Jonah goes out the city and builds himself a little shelter to like sit and watch. Said he built himself a shelter. Under the shade of it, he could see what was happening in the city. So he mad, like, I'm about to go perch up on a hill and set up a tent and watch, because I can't believe you just gonna forgive them like this. So I don't know if he was planning to watch for the whole 40 days or what, but that was his bright idea. And the Lord appointed a plant to grow over Jonah, to be shade to Jonah. Now, for those who live in hot places in the Nevadas, Las Vegas, the Houston, Texases, places where it get real toasty, 100 plus. You know what some good shade to help hide you from the beaming sun feel like. You understand that, that's a blessing. And so here, the Lord appoints a plant to grow over the drama king. See? Good father, right? Like, even though you tripping, he's still looking out. Anyways, first play. But the very next day, or at dawn, excuse me, so the very next day, God appointed a worm to attack the plant, and it withered. Following the attack of the plant, God also appointed scorching winds and for the sun to beat down on Jonah's head. It beat down so much that Jonah became faint and begged with all his soul to die. Second time, boys once again said, death is better to me than life. Boy, Jonah deserved all the acting contracts there were in the day because of what? Anyways, God once again asked, do you have good reason to be angry about the plan? And Jonah again, in his thespian way, said, I have good reason to be angry, even to death. Oh, Jonah's a trip, boy, I tell you. Okay. Then the Lord said, you had compassion on the plant for which you did not work and which you did not cause to grow, which came up overnight and perished overnight. Should I not have compassion on Nineveh, the great city in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not know the difference between their right and left hand? When he's referring to the persons who don't know the difference between the right and left hand, he's talking about children from the ages 4 and under. There was a lot that confused me about this particular chapter. Like I was so perplexed about why Jonah was so upset about the Lord showing compassion on the city of Nineveh. So I was like, I gotta be missing something. So I have a Bible that has a concordance. Shout out to my adoptive father, Mr. Ronnie Rock. He bought this for me while I was in undergrad, and I clearly use it to this day. And so I'm looking and I'm flipping because I'm like, I need some background. I'm trying to understand why this man is so angry about God showing compassion on people for repenting and turning from their ways. Like that, it don't add up. Well, I was looking at the background and the setting and the historical and theological themes, and in that I found that Jonah was a prophet from Israel. Israel and Nineveh, like, were arch nemesis. Like, I guess they would be the equivalent of like a blood versus a crip type thing. And I don't really know gangs like that, so maybe I shouldn't use that reference. But yeah, like East Coast, West Coast, just, you know, my turf better than your turf type thing. And so making it applicable for myself, I was like, oh, so basically God told this man to go from his hometown and to go to enemy territory and give this message to them about them about to perish and to be destroyed. And to me, I'm like, that's in alignment. Like, if I don't like you, why? Like, it would seem that one would be okay with delivering the bad news of like, hey, y'all about to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of fits. But again, back to what Jonah knew. Jonah knew about his father being compassionate. And specifically in the chapter, it says, this is exactly what he said. He said, I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness, and one who relents, concerning calamity. So Jonah knew that about God, which is why he was like, I ain't about to go deliver this message to them, because all you're gonna do is forgive them. Like, ain't that how we would be? Like, So to make it plain for myself, I was like, man, when I think about it, like, let's put it in grown-up context, right? Say there's a person at your job that is the thorn in your side, the petty king or petty queen at the job, always snitching on you, trying to micromanage you, just really gets under your skin, right? Like that person. And your boss is on some like, hey, I know this person gaslit you in a email that was, copied to all management. I know that this person has caused you to miss a raise or two. I know that this person is the reason that you hate coming to work every single day. But I need you to go and give them this news, right, about this opportunity to sink or swim, right? And this opportunity to be promoted or to be fired, right? Like, it's either or. It's the choice will literally lie in their hands, but I want you to be the deliverer of that news. Like, I could kind of feel where Jonah coming from. Like, I'm not trying to go deliver them no news that says that they might potentially be promoted when I know that they're the reason that I don't get promotions, when I know that they're the reason that I'm struggling and my name is well known in HR. Like, what? No, thank you, sir. Or ma'am. And so I then understood where Jonah was coming from. But the theme of this thing right here is that God can forgive who he wants to forgive. He can extend grace to whom he wants to extend grace to. And if we, being recipients of that forgiveness and that grace, who are we to dictate who he gives it to outside of us? Who are we to feel some type of way that he wants to give his grace, mercy, loving kindness to others? And so that's the message I pull from this, is that, like, as recipients of all of the good things that God has for us, his grace, his mercy, his loving kindness, like, we should be happy and joyous, exactly how it was for chapter 3, when God gives that to someone else, even when we think that person is undeserving for whatever reason, because there's many times that if we fully examined our lives and ourselves, that we were not worthy of the mercy, grace, and loving kindness that the Lord extended to us, but we gladly accepted it, right? So that's what I pull from this lesson, is that the things that we are willing to accept, we should also be willing to give. All right? And that God used this story as a great example of saying that, you know, I can forgive and show loving kindness to whomever. You don't have to agree with it. But because you are a recipient of it as well, you should cherish it and you should celebrate it for others as well as for yourself. So that's what I pulled from this one. Hope that you got something similar, or, you know, maybe something different. And if you did, feel free to drop down in the comments. Let's have a conversation. All right, so I definitely did make it under 10 minutes, tapping in at 12 again. But hey, you know, time management, I got to work on it. I love y'all. Thank you for kicking it with me for the 4 chapters in Jonah. I don't know if I'm going to be back. If the Lord gives me another book to focus on, then I'll pop back in. But I hope that you were able to learn a few things from the 4 chapters that I did go over. I probably will do a review, like a recap of like chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 of all the lessons that I pull from it. And, you know, we could dialogue about that in the comments. Anyways, I'm out. Appreciate y'all. Have a beautiful Sunday. Love y'all. Signing out. Sincerely, RW. Sincerely, RW.